A tragic coincidence during an iconic building project. A young woman defies medical science. And one of the craziest bank robberies in modern history. Are these stories based on true events? Or have we made them up to test your sense of reality? Let's test your ability to decipher between what's fact or fiction.
The line that divides the factual from the unreal has long since blurred. The tales we once thought fantastical, now implanted as true. To decipher verity from the imagined, you must break from the ordinary and consider a universe where the outlandish prevails. Can you expand your mind to see beyond our perceived reality? Can you decide what's fact or fiction?
Although building sites are generally safe for workers, this hasn't always been the case, and fatalities were common occurrences in the early part of the 20th century. Although grisly deaths were common, the loss of life during the building of the Grand Coulee Dam was especially tragic for one family.
Building a dam is a huge and complex project, and as with all construction in the early 20th century, there were risks associated. The workers knew the dangers, but the pay wasn't bad, and the hours were guaranteed. So cash-strapped fathers, sons, and husbands put their lives on the line to bring home enough money to take care of their families. But for one son and one father, they would end up learning how dangerous dam building could actually be. The first tragedy struck when surveyor Timothy George was scoping out potential locations for the dam. He was experienced at his job and was known for his due care and attention. But on December 20th, disaster struck and he drowned in the river. He was alone at the time of the accident, and nobody saw what happened, and his colleagues and loved ones couldn't understand how such a man as cautious and experienced as Timothy could have made an error bad enough for it to cost him his life. The tragedy hit Timothy's son, Stephen, especially hard. He was heartbroken at the death of his father and didn't want anything to do with the project. But Stephen's family needed the money, so he went to work as planned. During construction, there were many more fatalities, and when Stephen went to work on the morning of December 20th, the number of dead men stood at 111. On that fateful morning, Stephen was working high up on an intake tower when somehow he lost his footing and plunged over the edge into the river below. His death was number 112 and was the final fatality of the dam project, exactly 13 years to the day since his father's death, who was the first.
Coincidences happen, as do tragedies. But is this really the fate of the George family? Or is this just another tale we piece together ourselves? We'll reveal everything at the end of the episode, but for now, let us know what you think in the comments section below and vote by using the on-screen poll. Next up is an uplifting tale which proves you should never lose hope, even when it seems like all is lost.
Lucy Hart had always been a wild child, and growing up in the gritty streets of Glasgow, Scotland, she had plenty of opportunities to fall in with the wrong crowd. She did exactly that, and in 2015, when she was 17, she dropped out of college and spent all of her money partying. Her parents suspected that she was using drugs, but no matter how much they tried to talk to their daughter, she wasn't receptive to their love or concern. In October of that year, Lucy was celebrating her 18th birthday and was partying harder than ever. According to her friends, she was seen taking a pill around 9 p.m., then another about an hour later. They didn't know exactly what it was, but they were concerned as she seemed to be acting more wildly than ever. It was midnight and the group were walking to a nightclub when suddenly Lucy collapsed on the floor and lost consciousness. An ambulance quickly arrived and whisked Lucy's lifeless body onto a stretcher and began CPR as they raced to the hospital. But sadly, After 45 minutes of resuscitation efforts, doctors pronounced Lucy dead. Her parents arrived just minutes after and were devastated to hear that their precious daughter had lost her life. They requested some time to sit with Lucy and say goodbye, and as they held her hand, they told her how much they loved her. Just then, 20 minutes after Lucy had been pronounced dead, something shocking started to happen. Lucy's eyelids fluttered. Her parents thought they must have imagined the tiny movement, but when it happened the second time, they knew for sure that there was still life in their little girl. Doctors rushed in and were shocked to find a pulse, and were even more amazed when Lucy took a deep breath. Slowly, over the next 45 minutes, Lucy came back to life without the need for any additional treatment. She was kept in the hospital for 24 hours to be monitored, but has since gone on to make a full recovery. Lucy knows that she was incredibly lucky to get a second chance and is training to be a drugs counselor to stop other young people from making the same mistake.
There are many terrifying tales from history of people coming back to life after they've been buried. But could a doctor really make a mistake in pronouncing a girl dead with today's medical advancements? Let us know your thoughts as we get ready for the third and final tale for tonight. In 2005, Rio de Janeiro was in the news, but this time it wasn't for its beautiful beaches or infamous favelas. Instead, it was because of the largest bank robbery in modern recorded history.
It was Monday, August 8th, when police received a call from the central bank reporting a robbery. When they arrived at the scene of the crime, officers were shocked at what they found: a half-empty bank vault with a hole in the back of it. The daring gang dug an 80-meter tunnel which had been wood-paneled and fitted with electrical lighting and air conditioning. They successfully drilled through the meter-thick steel-reinforced concrete and then just simply took the money. In total, $52.5 million was stolen, making it the biggest bank robbery of all time. The alarms were never triggered, and the thieves had thrown white powder all over the vault to make fingerprinting difficult. But that's not even the cleverest part. The gang only took banknotes that had recently been removed from circulation. The bank had no record of the serial numbers, so the notes were completely untraceable, and the thieves were free to spend them however they wanted.
There certainly has been some crazy but true tales of bank robberies. But doesn't this one seem like one for the movies? How would the gang dig such a big tunnel without being noticed? And how could they drill through without being heard? Let us know what you think as we get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for, the reveal.
Are you ready to find out if you can decipher between fact or fiction? Let's look back at tonight's 3 stories and find out which were born from reality and which were fabrications of the imagination.
First, let's go back to the Grand Coulee Dam and the George family. Could one construction project really have claimed the lives of father and son on the same day, 13 years apart? Though it sounds too coincidental, it's completely true. The tale is actually of George Turney and his son, Patrick Turney, and the place is actually the Hoover Dam. They were, in fact, the first and last men to die on the project, and their deaths happened exactly 13 years apart. Now we're going back to Lucy Hart and her return from the dead. Could a woman really come back to life 20 minutes after being pronounced dead? Wouldn't there be some lasting side effects from an experience like this? Well, our tale isn't based on any true event, but instances of people coming back after being pronounced dead have happened. The phenomenon is known as Lazarus syndrome, and there have been more than 30 cases reported worldwide since the 1980s. Finally, we're back in Brazil to the scene of the most movie-worthy bank robbery in South American history. Could the men have really dug their way through steel, concrete, and dirt without being detected? Did we steal this story from the plot of a movie? Actually, no, we didn't. And this story is completely true. The bank in the northern city of Fortaleza was reported to have been the site of the biggest bank robbery in Brazil's history.
How well did you do in tonight's video? Did you look past the deception of our world and define the off-blurred line that struggles to separate lies from the truth? Let us know in the comment section below. And should you find the urge to test your perceptions again, be sure to subscribe and join us next time when we ask you to decide what's fact or fiction.